Okay, so in the world of AI, there's this constant arms race, right? Between making these models more and more powerful and trying to keep them safe. We spend all this time and energy trying to make them foolproof. But what if the secret to breaking through the best defenses wasn't some huge, complicated attack at all?
I mean, we're talking about the heavy hitters here. Models like GPT-4o. They are specifically trained with what's called safety alignment to just say no to dangerous requests. They're built like digital fortresses. So the big question is, how do you get into a fortress that's supposed to be impenetrable?
Well, you don't. You trick it into hacking itself. Yeah, you heard that right. A brand new research paper has revealed just a stunningly simple way to bypass all these complex safeguards, and it does it by turning the AI's biggest strength, its ability to follow instructions, into its most critical weakness.
Okay, first things first, let's really get a handle on just how secure these large language models, these LLMs, are meant to be.
You know, if you just go up to a modern AI and ask it for something bad, like how to make counterfeit money, it's going to shut you down, flat out. The researchers confirm this themselves. These models have some really powerful, meticulously tuned safeguards built right in. So you got to understand, developers have built this fortress of defenses. It's not just one thing. You've got your basic keyword filters that block a list of bad words. Then you have this really complex stuff like reinforcement learning, which basically trains the AI with human feedback to be a good, helpful bot. There are even systems that mix the AI's creativity with old-school, hard-coded rules.
But of course, the moment you build a wall, someone's going to try to climb it, right? So let's talk about let's call them the old heist plans.
Okay, so these are the kinds of jailbreaks that security teams already know all about. You've probably heard of the Dan or Do Anything Now attack, where you try to get the AI to role-play its way out of its safety training. Or maybe using weird misspellings or even trying to sneak in triggers during training. The key thing to remember here is that the developers know about these. The models are specifically trained to spot them and block them.
But here's where it gets really interesting. What if you didn't even try to smash down the door? What if you could just, trick the guard into unlocking it for you? And that's exactly what this new research is all about.
It's called a task and prompt attack, or TIP for short. And honestly, it is deviously clever. It doesn't go after the safety filters at all. No. Instead, it exploits the AI's most basic, fundamental purpose. Its incredible desire to be helpful and solve whatever puzzle you put in front of it.
So check this out. It's basically a three-step con. First, you give the AI a totally harmless-looking puzzle, like decoding some garbled text. Then, and this is the really sneaky part, you make sure the answer to that puzzle is a forbidden word. And for the final step, you tell the AI, hey, use that word you just figured out to answer my next question. See? The AI is so busy being a good little problem solver that it walks right into the trap.
And that right there, that's the core of the whole problem. The researchers make a great point. These models have always struggled to tell the difference between the instructions they're supposed to follow and the data inside those instructions. The TIP attack just weaponizes that confusion.
Okay, so the inside job theory is smart, for sure, but does it actually work in the real world? Well, the researchers put it to the test, and wow, the results speak for themselves. And let me tell you, they were thorough. They built this whole new testing system called PHRYGE. They took 6 of the best AI models out there and just hammered them with 10 different kinds of tasks. And we're not just talking simple ciphers here, but everything from Morse code to complex Python code and even abstract riddles.
Get ready for this, because the results are just staggering. Take GPT-4o, right? Supposedly one of the most secure models out there. The old Dan attack, it only worked 3% of the time. The defenses saw it coming. But the TIP attack, using a simple Python puzzle, it blew past the defenses 86% of the time. That is not a crack in the armor, that's a giant gaping hole. And against other top models, the success rate was even higher. All right, now let's flip this around and look at it from the defense's point of view. You have something like LLaMA Guard 3, which is built specifically for safety. It's a pro at spotting that old Dan attack, catches it 98% of the time. Amazing. But when it sees the Python-based TIP attack, its detection rate just falls off a cliff, down to 7%. Why? Because the attack just looks like a friendly request to solve a puzzle. The guards are looking for burglars, not someone in a clever disguise.
And what about the most basic defense, the simple keyword filter? Forget about it. Because the harmful word is all scrambled up inside a puzzle, the filter never even sees it. Its detection rate against the TIP attack is a big, fat 0. Totally, 100% useless.
Okay, so what does all this mean outside of a research lab?
This is not just some academic what-if. This is a very real problem.
The researchers themselves summed it up perfectly. These tip attacks work because they are wolves in sheep's clothing. To the AI's defenses, they just look like another harmless, everyday request from a curious user.
And what's really fascinating here is that the sneakiest, most effective attacks were often the most abstract ones. Riddles, Python code, things that require the AI to actually think and reason. These had the best success rates, probably because it's so much harder for a safety system to see how solving a riddle could possibly be a threat.
And this is where it gets scary, because this has huge real-world consequences. Think about it. A customer service bot for a bank. An attacker could, in theory, ask it to solve a fun little coding puzzle. But the solution to that puzzle could reveal the bank's secret anti-fraud protocols. The bot thinks it's helping, but it's actually giving away the keys to the kingdom.
So when you boil it all down, this research brings us face to face with a huge paradox right at the heart of AI safety. We want these models to be incredibly good at following our instructions. That's their whole purpose. But this work shows that their greatest strength might just be their greatest weakness. And that's a puzzle the entire AI community now needs to solve, and fast.